You ever have one of those weeks where it just feels like Friday is never going to get here? That's where I'm at. Hi, friends. Welcome to Life of Brian. My name is Brian. This is my life. I hope y'all have had a better week than I have. If not, if we're in the same boat, it's okay because it's Friday night. Friday the 13th, March 13th, 2026, as I'm filming this. Welcome. Welcome to my life. This is the Life of Brian. And you'll notice that I'm holding the mic closer to my mouth because after a couple videos this year of this new microphone, I just now realized that I have to have it this close to my mouth for it to work. You know what? We learn as we go, right? So, got my, don't know if we can get all this in. Let me see if I can do this. Got my unmasked area shirt on. Area. This is the unmasked area. You know what I mean. Telling you, one of those freaking weeks. Anyway, tonight, I'm going to show some things that I've gotten, towards the end of February and into March, and talk about something that I did last week. I wanted to make a full video of something that I attended last week, but recording on a phone and blah blah blah, whatever. So we'll just do a little bit of a recap in this one. So one thing, stay where you are. One thing that I forgot to show in the things that I got in January and the beginning of February was this butte. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8. I don't know, 10 or 12 of the Pacifica belt buckles. Not all Kiss. I think only 4 of them are Kiss. But once I started looking at them on eBay, like, oh my gosh, like I have Led Zeppelin and Rush and I don't know. Anyway, well, in the belt buckle search, you see some that are not Pacifica. One that caught my eye that I had in my watch list, because I just I had to let it simmer. But I pulled the trigger, and it's this. Trying not to get this freaking glare on there. Creatures of the Night. It's got the purple background. I don't know. Something about that really appealed to me. And I want to say it was $30. I couldn't beat it. And this thing is heavy compared to the Pacifica belt buckles. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those and just the weight of them. And they're sort of light. It's almost like an alloy metal. That thing is legit. So anyway, just had to throw that in there. $30. I'm pretty proud of that one. That one's pretty rad. So I got a few things from the Kiss Museum. I want to say it's probably a couple weeks ago. I went on there. I don't know. I hope I hope all of you that are watching are like me and you peruse that site at least once a day, if not more. But I got a couple small things. So as I've stated numerous times on here, between Unmasked Dynasty, the solo album art to me is just, in my mind, the solo album art is top of the list. It's unbeatable. I like other things. Obviously, I've got, you know, other posters on the wall. I've got Ace's smoking guitar poster that I had him sign. Anyway, if I see just about anything solo album, if I don't get it, it's got to be way overpriced, totally useless for me. Some big reason why I'm not buying it. So these things from the Kiss Museum, I had to have. Like this sticker. This is one big sticker with the faces. That was a must. And of course these are turned over now, but there's 4 solo album face buttons in here. There's Paul. And then the other one behind it that you can't see. That's not going to work. There we go. Rock and roll over. I've kind of, I don't know where the button thing came from. I've got some, I've had buttons over the years. Oh, I say over the years. When I was a teenager, I was big into the stickers and buttons. I know the Italian prism stickers are a hot commodity. I don't know that I ever had those, but I remember having prism stickers as a teenager. I don't remember what they were of, but I remember having prism stickers and just being in awe of them. And plus, I had a skateboard, so something to stick my stickers on, as well as my binders and trapper keepers and all that stuff. The button thing, I think I remember having a couple buttons, but those it was a solo album basis. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, 100% know why I did it. Something else that I found, and this was not on the Kiss Museum, I don't think. Xander might correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think this was from him. I think this was off of eBay. This is a VHS of Inner Sanctum. And what that I love about these VHSs of stuff like this is, sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed, is the freaking cassette they recorded on. It's just so great. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I would like to know who wrote that and who actually took the time to write Kiss with the lightning bolt S's. Inner Sanctum 1980. I mean, that is just freaking awesome. I love it. I still don't have a VCR. I'm collecting all this physical media VHS videos. Like one of the things that, well, whatever. We'll get to that. I'm jumping ahead. Something else. This did come from Xander. This Rock Candy cover. Oh, talk about solo album, and it's Ace. So that was a double yes. And thanks to Xander for the heads up. He had mentioned on his last uh, video of his. Oh my gosh, it's all Kiss Army things. Jeez, sorry. Friday night. It's been a week. Anyway, his latest, or not maybe latest now. Anyway, recent issue episode of Kiss Army things. He mentioned having Rock Candy new current issue that they're printing that has Peter's solo album on the cover of it. He had a few on Kiss Museum I missed out, but I was able to go to the Rock Candy website. Rock Candy's a UK magazine. I was able to order them on there. I want to say they were like $8, so I ordered two. I don't have them yet, so but thanks to Xander for that heads up. So last week, today's the 13th. Last Saturday would have been March 7th. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. I went to Plano, Texas, which is about an hour from me. Plano is north of Dallas. Fort Worth is west of Dallas. A little geography lesson there. I went to Plano last Saturday for, it was called, I think I have my lanyard still. It was called Retro Expo. I got a skip pass because there was different things, different people there you can get autographs from. I never needed that, but there was one person in particular that I went to this whole thing for. It was in a Plano Event Center, so it's kind of a, you know, standard convention, nothing big, not like a Comic Con or anything, but a good, decent size convention. The main reason why I made the trek up there was for Bruce Kulick. He was going to be there. He's going to have a table. He was going to sign autographs. He was going to have a Q&A panel, which I didn't know about till I was already gone. Oh, well, one of those things. But I'd had my I'd had my ticket to this event for a couple weeks. And, you know, like I said when I was talking about my Ace meet and greet thing, racking my brain with what I was going to get autographed. Well, obviously, I was thinking Asylum. I have the anniversary release that they did last year. Kiss Online did for Asylum. I have that. Okay, well that's a possibility. I have Revenge. I was like, I don't know that I have. I have the latest off the soundboard because that was, on the Asylum tour in San Antonio. Completely forgot that I had this bad boy, and this is what I took, and this is what I had signed. And oddly enough, the guy behind me in line had the same freaking thing. So whatever, it's pretty cool. But it's my non-makeup creatures. He signed it to Brian with his autograph. Now, when he saw it, he was kind of shocked because he said, "Oh, that's pretty rare." And until I said, "Well, wait till the guy behind me comes up," and he had the same freaking thing in his hand. But it was a pretty fun conversation. Bruce was awesome. He is, I've only met Ace. Besides Bruce Kulick, Ace Frehley is the only other member from Kiss that I've met. Bruce was very personable. Nothing against Ace, you know, is what it is. Ace was awesome. His wife was there. She was, kind of helping him run the table and, you know, herd the cattle through, herd them along the line. And she also had a book that she'd written that, he was selling at his table. Uh, but, it was early enough in the morning. He got there, I want to say the thing opened at 9, and Bruce and his wife Lisa were there not too long after that setting up because VIPs could get in at 9. And so we're walking around and people are still setting up their booths. We see Bruce and his wife Lisa walk in. They set up the table, and he asked. He said there was me and probably 3 or 4 other guys hovering around his table because there was a banner, a backdrop banner with his like a action shot, live shot of him on stage. So that's how we knew where we needed to be. Anyway, he asked us if we could give him 30 or 40 minutes for them to set up. Sure, we did what we obviously we obliged, and it gave us a chance to swap stories and as Kiss fans do when you've got nothing else to do and you're waiting, you just talk Kiss and talk your life and talk history and talk your fandom. And that 30 or 40 minutes went by super fast. And when it was my turn, there was a couple people in front of me. When it was my turn, you know, they take your payment for what you're gonna do. I got the autograph and a selfie combo. Did the payment for that. He signed it, and then you step around the table. He stands up because he's sitting down at a table as he's autographing. He stands up. You walk around behind the table and stand next to him, and his wife took my phone and took a couple pictures, and then you're golden. And it was really awesome. Bruce was super cool. I hated that I missed out on the Q&A, but thankfully I saw a guy's um, YouTube post that was there and filmed the whole thing. So I watched that. Um, but yeah, it was really cool. And the convention itself, it was called Retro Expo. So I'm 51 years old. I was born in 1974. So any of you that are my age or around my age, if you grew up in the 70s or 80s, if you think of anything that we grew up with, it was there. It was so surreal seeing these things. I am so glad that well, kind of a little backstory on me. I don't have a credit card. I have my debit card for my bank account, and I don't have a credit card because I don't trust myself. That's just not that I don't believe in credit cards, to each their own, but I know I'm not strong enough. And this convention last week was complete 100% proof that I am not strong enough. And thank God I did not have a credit card or it would be maxed out. There were so many things. Star Wars, I was a Star Wars nut before I was a Kiss nut. And some things that I remember having were on sale. And it's just one of those, how are we going to know? You know, you open stuff, you play with it, whatever. Tear it up, get another one. It's the way it's what toys are made for, and that's what kids have toys for. Anyway, Retro Expo was awesome. Super, super cool. I did end up buying a couple things. VHS related. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. I found this Jaws. It says, I thought it had no, it just says widescreen edition. I thought it was an anniversary. It's not, but it was really cool packaging, and it's freaking almost brand new. It's $10. And Back to the Future, which, oh yeah, this did not come from uh there. This was half price books after. I bought it for that much. But another reason why I bought this was, look at this. Hold on, let me try to do this right. Look at this other price tag on here. Right under where it says Federated. You see that price? That is not a misprint. $59.95 for a VHS. I thought that was pretty cool. That was worth me paying $2.50 for. But I like Back to the Future. Um, Let me think. I think that's pretty much all of the stuff that I've gotten, except for the one thing that I teased on Instagram, and I teased in a post earlier today of my latest purchase, and this is from eBay. And I'm gonna have to put this mic down because I'm gonna need my second hand. But I think you can still hear me. I think I made it pretty evident. I was trying not to, but this is it. This thing, yes, it was folded, which I'm hoping means it was in an army kit, which is what Rick told me. I have a Peter Criss one that was folded, and he said, "Oh, that was in an army kit." I'm hoping this was too. I don't know. Maybe somebody just folded it for whatever reason. It's very well loved, but I don't care. I think our KISS community motto should be "Non-mint means more fun," and that's trademarked by It's All For You Demons. I'm gonna have to send him $10 for saying that. But it's 100% true. That's the only way that I've been able to buy some of the things that I've bought, like my first solo album belt buckle of Gene. That was under $100. I haggled the guy down. It was under $100. That Ace poster that I just showed was under $100. I bought the Ace smoking guitar poster and that Paul poster back here. I bought them both at the same time from a record store. Both of them total were $150. So I mean, I'm not saying that to brag or saying, how much money I spend on stuff, but it kind of goes in concert with something. I sent a message to our friend Rick at It's All For You Demon about something that's been rolling around in my gourd for the last couple of weeks, of just how stupid some of the pricing is for these things that you, me, all of us look for, want, but can't have because of the prices. And so my whole thought that I put down in message form to him was mainly my thoughts in my head of, how can we rewrite this narrative? How can we as KISS fans change change the directive? I even said, do we reserve buying all of our things from Xander at KISS Museum because he's 100% fair priced? Do we buy from other collectors? I don't know, because to me, belt buckles, posters, no reason you should have to pay $100 or more for those things. In my head, and again, coming from somebody that's tight ass, yes. Rick said that he thinks KISS and KISS Online will change it because of the way they're marketing now, the way they're gearing towards the younger people. They're me, you, us that are watching our KISS community are part of the reason why they got to where they're at. And so, I think they're expecting us to hang it up like they did. And they want to go after the younger crowd, which, whatever, capitalism is what it is. People are, eBay sellers can charge whatever they feel they want to charge for something. Doesn't mean that I have to buy it, and I'm not gonna. So, after getting the Ace poster yesterday and thinking about when I bought the uh, Gene solo album buckle, I had to remind myself that it is possible. Patience is key. Yeah, I'm nowhere near as, far down the road in this stuff as a lot of these guys who've been collecting for 20, 30 years. Now, I've been a fan, like I've said numerous times, I've been a fan my whole life. And I've had things in my youth that, probably would have been cool collectibles now that I didn't think at the time were collectibles. It was just, I had obviously the physical media, and I had the um like the posters that came in the albums, which to me, not I didn't know it at the time, but looking back on it, that was merch for me. I didn't even know what I had. And I'm trying to think of, man, I know I had some other stuff, but whatever. Age, getting old sucks. I'm probably a year and a half, maybe coming close to 2 years in on full bore seeking out eBay, seeking out record stores, seeking out wherever, just looking for specific things besides vinyl. So I have to remind myself of that too, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. But all that being said, I did a video about Paul Stanley last summer. Uh, it's the one that's called "Paul is my first again," where I highlighted how Paul was my first of a few things. He was my first solo album poster. I've since gotten Peter's. I got his, I don't know, I'll say probably 3, 4 months ago, probably November-ish. And now I have Ace. So less than a year, I've gotten 3 of those things. I just need one more. And obviously, process of elimination, we know it's Gene. I just need Gene's solo album poster, and I will have all 4 of them. Now, yes, there's a one with all 4 of them on one poster. There's technically 5, but that I don't even I'm not even counting that one. Yes, it exists. Yes, there's 5, but in my head there's 4 because there's 4 members. There's four solo albums. I'm not gonna say never. I'm not gonna say never. But right now the target is Gene, and once I have Gene's, I will be 100% content. So I still only have the one buckle. I have just Gene's buckle, the 45s with the colored vinyl and the mask from UK, the Pi or PYE, however you say it, 45s. I got Paul's, and I bought a Peter. That's what she said. I got Peter's, but I burnt myself because I didn't know there was remasters of that. So the mask is a fold out. So I don't really count that one. It's cool, but not really what I was looking for. So I still only have one of the 45s, one of the solo album buckles. Anyway, it'll all happen when it's supposed to. It's, again, going on what I had sent to Rick on my message. He kind of talked me off the ledge. I copied it and sent it to our friend Scott FL Dog because I wanted to get his thoughts too. Told him what I'd sent to Rick and wanted to know his thoughts. And of course, he was kind of he was in agreement with me and Rick, and basically said everything that I've just said, that it's just part of the process. Just be patient and it'll all happen. And I believe it. I'm in no hurry, even though sometimes I feel like I need to be. I feel like if it wasn't for some of these damn prices, I'd be farther along in my collecting, life than I am now. But again, that would also take away from the journey of it, which I think is probably something that gets overlooked the most. Like uh, I think it was Rick that posted on Instagram earlier today about a buckle and how he bought his first buckle. I think he said in 1994. He and I are the same age, which means we would have been 20 years old. We're a little bit older than that now, and it's taken them all these years to complete something. He was kind of, I think he was being a little, um, what's the word I'm looking for? He was kind of keeping it hidden a little bit as a surprise. But anyway, I just took that as more affirmation of what I've been going on and on about for the last 10 or 15 minutes of just collecting in general is a marathon, not a sprint. And I really think when I make myself stop and think about it, if I were to rush through things, if I were to buy all of some set of something, if I was to, you know, rush to get Gene's poster today, yeah, it would be cool. But once that's done, obviously there's some on to the next thing. But I think having that having that carrot dangling out off in the distance is part of the fun of all of this. You know, that yeah, I have all of these, but I still need this, one other thing. I shouldn't say but because that makes it sound like a negative, and it's not a negative. It really just means there's no end to this journey. If we don't want there to be, this can go as long and hard and deep. Ooh, I know what I said. As we want it to go. And yeah, this is probably more of a reminder to myself, but hopefully all of you are getting something out of this too, because the one thing that we need to keep in mind with all of this is remembering the fun of it all. How much fun it is to just the searching for it, let alone, finding something and getting it on your doorstep and then framing it and having it on your wall or getting it autographed, whatever it is. All of that's great, but the hunt, man, that's just as awesome. It's just as fun and frustrating as getting what it is that we have targeted. And yeah, thank you all for listening to all of this. I know this is I try to keep these things short. I swear to you, I try to keep these things short. 30 minutes is not short. But anyway, let's have a conversation. I say this every time. Let's have a conversation in the comments. What are you collecting? What's one or what's multiples of your rabbit holes? And I'd said before that, one of my rabbit holes is going to be anything and everything Phantom of the Park. And it still is. That's a very detailed rabbit hole because there's not a whole, I don't want to say there's not a whole lot, but anyway, I stopped myself down there. I bogged, but Phantom of the Park, Dynasty, solo albums, y'all know the drill. Y'all know where my head is. I want to know where your head is. And a little sidebar here. I'm going to continue a couple more minutes, but the one plus that the seeing Bruce Kulick last week, one thing that it did for me is up until that last Saturday, I had made a video after Ace passed about my meet and greet experience and how I said that I was only listening to Kiss with Ace and listening to his solo stuff. Well, up until last Saturday, that was still the case. If I shuffled my Apple Music library and any Kiss song after Ace came on, I skipped it until I left the expo last Saturday. I got in the car and I turned on my Asylum that's in my I don't have the whole album in my Apple Music, but I have Tears Are Falling, Who Wants to Be Lonely, All Night, Radar for Love. I listened to those for the first time since October, and it was very cathartic. And oddly enough, I listened to those four songs, and the very next song to come on, I had it on shuffle after that. And the very next song was Rise to It off of Hot in the Shade, which I love that song. I love the whole vibe of it. I just I love the tempo of it. I love the guitars. I love that song. And so that song came on after hearing the four Asylum songs, and then I was like, okay. Do I still miss Ace? Yes. I mean, I'll probably always miss that son of a bitch. But Kiss as an entity was just as huge in my life as Ace was. And I can't forget that, and I can't neglect it anymore. Ace Ace will always have a place in my heart. So anyway, not to bog down too much longer, but I have broken out of that and I'm now enjoying the full catalog again. And yeah, I hope y'all are having a great Friday night. It's Friday the 13th. Don't know if you're going to watch one of those movies or, what you do if you celebrate Friday the 13th at all, or if it's just another day. Either way, I hope you get to do whatever you want to do tonight and this weekend. Take a break from the week. Work does not own us. Work doesn't own us. We can have the life we want. And I say that after starting the video of, the shitty week that I had. So, anyway, again, this whole thing is for me. Y'all are just along for the ride. I hope y'all have an amazing weekend. I don't know when I'll post again, but anyway, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this video, listen to my rambling and ranting, and seeing the things that I post on here. It really means a lot to me. And I'd really love for y'all to leave a comment. You can subscribe if you want to. Leave a comment just about something you're collecting, that's really buzzing for you right now, something that you're just really gets your motor running right now. Let's talk about that. I'd love to hear everybody's comments. Until next time, happy hunting, y'all. Remember to have fun.